Hey mamas, what do your teen notes look like? Are they disorganized? Are they like a hot mess and history bleeds into science, bleeds into English? Can your teen really find information quickly, or is it just a struggle and those notes are pretty useless? Let me know down below because that's what we're talking about today. Is we're talking about how to help your child take better notes, and we're just going to focus on one thing today. Okay, there are so many parts to note taking. Let's start with something pretty simple, and that is the bullets. That is the indentation. Okay, we have to figure out what is your teen going to do to organize those notes and know, okay, how is this the main idea? Is it's like a little tiny detail? Like, what are those symbols, those steps, those things that your teen can do to make those handwritten notes so much more useful? Now, if we're new to each other, I want to say thanks for being here on the Ace Cookie Tutoring Facebook business page and on the YouTube channel. Would love to schedule a free consultation with you at that link in the description so we can actually figure out, okay, what's going on with your teen's notes and how can we make them better. Now, before I give you 3 tips about how your teen needs to choose those bullets to really figure out how to personalize that system, I want to share with you why it's so important for your teen to actually make this decision, why it's so important for your child, no matter if we're talking a middle schooler or a high schooler or college student, to really have a system in place so that way when your child gets ready to take some notes in a class, it's not a, okay, I'll just write them however, I can just write it like this. It doesn't matter. We really want your teen to be thoughtful so those notes are not a waste of time, to take. And so your teen actually has something to use when he's at home doing homework or even getting ready to study for a quiz, a chapter test, or something big like a final. Okay. So the simplest thing, the most important thing I can say about your child having a system when it comes to bullets, when it comes to indenting, is the fact that we want those notes to be organized. Okay, we don't want your teen flipping and flipping and flipping through page after page in a notebook, or like I shared with you in another video, through his folder with those brads, right? The fasteners, whatever you call them. We don't want your teen flipping and flipping and having no idea where that information is he's looking for. Okay, so organization is going to happen when your teen actually has a bullet system, an indentation system for his notes. Okay, that skimming and scanning is going to be essential for, like, say, open book tests. It's going to be essential when your child is trying to find that one thing that he needs to answer that one question on that math homework. Okay. Now, another big thing, and we'll talk about kind of like, again, the layers, the types of bullets. Do know that when your teen has bullets, his notes are organized, which then means your child knows, okay, is this something that the teacher is talking about from today's notes, or do I need to find notes from like 2 days ago? Okay, if there's no bullets, there's no labeling, there's no organization happening here, your teen has no idea, okay, do I need to say these notes for this test? Or is it like 6 pages worth of notes? If your teen doesn't have them organized, doesn't have different labels, bullets, whatever, your teen's going to have no idea which notes, which topics, which parts of the class he's expected to know in order to do well on the homework or the test. Okay. So I know you've been waiting and waiting to know, okay, how do you personalize your notes, Jessyka? Like, what system, what bullets, what indentations do you use? And I'm happy to share those with you. So stick with me. Before I do, mamas, again, if you're just now joining us, thank you so much for being here. If you haven't hit that like button, that follow button, the subscribe button, it would be amazing to have you here so that way you don't miss any future videos. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a study skills tutor, the CEO and founder of Ace Cookie Tutoring. So mamas, Jessyka Coulter here. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for caring about your teen's education. Thank you so much for wanting your teen to love to learn. Because if you're here watching, I know you want your teen to learn study skills so he or she can actually love to learn because he or she knows how to learn. So without further ado, let me show you what my note-taking system is, what my bullet system is. Hopefully it won't be backwards. So it literally is 4 things. So double star, single star, hyphen, and then the dot. Okay, that's all I use, those 4 things. I developed the system in middle school. And as an adult, it is still the system I use to this day. So that is one of many reasons we want your teen, no matter if you've got a tween, teen, young adult, what you have at home, mamas. We want your teen to pick that system that's no more than 4 layers deep now, so then your teen can use it in every class, every learning opportunity, literally any time your teen needs to take notes from now until forever. Okay, because when I meet with parents, when I watch my training videos, when I am working with a student, I use those 4 symbols to take my notes. Okay, now those symbols, hopefully you saw, they weren't fancy. Okay, they don't have to be fancy. So that's one of the tips I have for your teens is when you look at your child's notes, you want to see, okay, do they have bullets? Because we want those notes in list form. And you want to be able to tell what's the difference between a header, what's the difference between a subheading, what's the difference between like a big detail, but it's not a heading, and then a little tiny detail. Okay, so this video, I'm not talking about kind of what to write in notes. That's something I'll cover in my Love to Learn Study Skills program. That's also what I cover in my note-taking workshop that I'm hosting actually next week. So do know if your teen needs help with the actual how to take notes, like figuring out what to put in those notes, we can talk about that in our consultation and then when we decide to work together in the future. But do know we need these 4 types of symbols that are quick, that they're easy, and that your teen's going to be consistent with, okay? We don't want your teen spending 10 minutes drawing a star that's like 4 or 5 colors with lots of sparkles and like, funny faces with winky eyes or, little food symbols. Like all those are great and cute and amazing. But if your teen's focused on writing the bullet and not focused on listening to what the teacher says, what the teacher's putting on the board, your child is going to get so far behind. So these notes are designed to be super quick and only have what your teen needs in them. And in order to make them organized and easy to use, that's when the bullets come into play. Okay. So definitely do know mama's learning style is a big part of figuring out how to take notes. It does come into these bullets a little bit, like no matter if we're talking visual, auditory, kinesthetic, I still want your child to have these different symbols to represent the header, the main heading, kind of like a subheading, and then like little details. But, we're going to figure out those colors and those actions and the sound based on how your teen learns, which is, again, something we can do when I work with your teen one-on-one or even in a group setting through a workshop. So thanks for being here, mamas. I hope to talk to you and your child very, very soon. Go to that link in the description, click on that, choose a day and a time for us to meet for a free consultation so we can help your teen take better notes and use these notes to hopefully love to learn in every class. Have a great night, mamas. See you soon.